Good morning from here in Trung Khánh, a wonderful and amazing place that greets us today with a quiet and lingering melancholy, a feeling created by its thin veil of rain that silently drifts across the beautiful valley, and softening the world into thousand shades of silver and mists. Here at Land's homestay, the warmth of the hearth and the kindness of the people makes it far too easy to stay just a little longer. Perhaps it is the lingering scent of wood smoke, or the faint echo of laughter from last night's shared meal still drifting through the morning air. Maybe it is because of the lasting impression of the mighty Ban Juk waterfall, or the quiet and spiritual clarity which I found at the Chua Phat Tich Truc Lam Ban Jayak temple. All of this seems to blend seamlessly with the gentle rhythm of life, here in this far-flung corner of the Cao Bang province, and settling into me in a way that makes leaving feel like turning away from a life story I am still in the midst of writing.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So the weather is not really the best.
Head west.
But we continue to our next destination. Hopefully on the way it will get a little bit more dry.
Take the next left, then slide left.
And they are washing the clothes. Can't get more wet than this. Okay, we filled up. And we continue.
We are now departing from the tranquil hamlet of Kio Tang, leaving behind its mist-covered valleys and the gentle rhythm of life that has carried us through these past days. Ahead lies our next destination, the town of that key, a conurbation set within a completely new landscape, shaped by different histories, different people, and an entirely different set of stories already waiting to surprise us. Our route follows the DT-208, a provincial road known for its sweeping mountain scenery and dramatic contrasts. This stretch of road cuts through vast expanses of forested limestone peaks, with towering cliffs on one side and deep valleys on the other. I have been told that it is a terrain that riders often describe as both majestic and humbling. Even on rainy days, the DT-208 remains a memorable journey, its smooth mountain passes offering long and quiet stretches, where the only sound is the hum of the engine and the whisper of clouds drifting low across the hills. And as we ride southward, we first pass through Trung Khánh, a district celebrated for its rugged karst formations and remote ethnic villages. A region which is loved among cyclists and trekkers for its off-the-beaten-path routes, sealed mountain roads, and traditional communities that still preserve their ancestral ways of life. Then as we continue along the DT-208, we shall enter the commune of Thong Hu, a collective which is surrounded by highland farms and small settlements where daily life unfolds at a gentle pace. From there, the road leads us toward Quảng Uyên, a historic market town and cultural hub of the Nung people. The surrounding area is known for its blacksmithing villages, terraced fields, and mountain landscapes often compared to a miniature Halong Bay on land, due to its dramatic limestone formations. Further along, we pass Hoa Thuan, where the scenery opens into wide agricultural valleys framed by steep karst ridges. This region is part of the broader Cao Bang Highlands, an area shaped by centuries of ethnic diversity, traditional crafts, and mountain agriculture. Eventually, we reach Dong Key, a place of deep historical significance. It lies along the route of several trekking expeditions that trace the footsteps of past conflicts and cultural exchanges between the highland communities of Cao Bang and Lang Son. There, we shall leave the DT-208 and merge onto the QL-4A, which is one of the region's most important arterial roads. The QL-4A will then guide us through the final stretch of our journey, descending gradually from the high mountains of Cao Bang into the softer, rolling landscapes of the Lang Son province. It is said that this road has long served as a lifeline between the remote northern districts, threading through valleys, villages, and historical sites before finally delivering us into that key, the gateway town of the Trang Dinh district. It will be a new region where an entirely new chapter of our journey begins. A new terrain, with new faces, and an entirely different set of stories, which are waiting to be discovered as we continue our path across the northern frontier and southward towards the Gulf of Tonkin. And as we are now entering the town of Tt Dong Ki, nestled here in the district of Thac On, the rain has not stopped yet and it is getting colder and colder, since we are soaked wet until our last layers of clothing. It is needless to mention that our journey through the rain and mist-covered highlands of Cao Bằng has so far not been so exciting, and this place seems like just another quiet town tucked between limestone ridges and rice-growing valleys. But wait, not so fast. Dong Ki is not only a modest township and a waypoint on our route, but also a place where every ridge and valley still carries the echoes of a story that once reshaped the destiny of the entire nation. It was here, in September of 1950, that Dong Ki became the center of one of the most decisive battles of the First Indo-China War. Along the old colonial Route 4, the French maintained a fortified outpost, guarding the supply lines that threaded through these mountains. The Viet Minh, recognizing the strategic importance of this corridor, launched a massive offensive. Over several days of fierce fighting, the garrison was overwhelmed. The fall of Dong Ki triggered a catastrophic retreat along the RC4, leading to thousands of casualties and marking one of the French army's most devastating defeats of the war. Today, none of that violence is visible on the surface, and the town is peaceful and its markets lively, its streets lined with small shops, and its people are warm and welcoming, despite of today's miserable weather conditions. The rain has not yet let up as we cross the provincial border here, and the QL4A glistens like a ribbon of wet slate beneath our wheels. The mist still clings to the limestone cliffs, drifting low across the road as if guiding us into a world older, deeper, and more mysterious than anything we have seen so far. This is the legendary Lang Son province, a land where the story of Vietnam is written not only in its people, but in the very bones of the earth itself. Here, the mountains rise like ancient cathedrals, carved over hundreds of millions of years when this entire region once laid beneath a warm and tropical sea surface. The oldest rocks still hold the fossilized remains of trilobites and graptolites, which are creatures that lived long before the first dinosaurs walked the earth. As tectonic forces lifted the seabed skyward, the landscape transformed into the dramatic karst formations that now surround us, towering above the road like guardians of a forgotten age. But Lang Son is not only a geological wonder, no, it is also Vietnam's newest UNESCO Global Geopark, recognized for its extraordinary natural heritage and cultural richness. Spanning more than 4,840 square kilometers, and home to nearly 627,000 people, the geopark covers 8 districts and cities, forming one of the largest protected geological regions in the country. And as we continue along the rain-soaked QL4A, the land opens into a tapestry of caves, valleys, and hidden rivers. Beneath these mountains lies a labyrinth of more than 200 caves, many adorned with untouched stalactites and ancient underground riverbeds. Some caves, like the Tam Cuyen and the Tam Hai, are holding prehistoric relics that reveal some of Vietnam's earliest human settlements. Others, like the Na Dương Basin, preserve fossils from 41 to 33 million years ago, and including crocodile jaws which are still gripping onto their yummy and last meal. This is a province where geology, biodiversity, and culture intertwine, as the spiritual life here is deeply rooted in the mother goddess religion, recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Villages across the geopark maintain traditions passed down through generations, crafts, festivals, and rituals which are shaped by the mountains that is surrounding them. Even in the rain and freezing cold, this land feels alive, as the clouds cling to the peaks as if reluctant to let them go. The road curves through valleys where farmers tend their fields beneath towering cliffs. And everywhere, the sense of deep time is palpable, as 500 million years of Earth's history rising around us in pure stone from ancient times, secretly flowing water from deep mysterious caves, and low-hanging mist lingering bizarrely around the karst hills. Now, as we ride deeper into the province of Lang Son, the QL4A also becomes much more than just a simple road. In fact, it set off a timeline, as each bend revealing another chapter of the planet's evolution, and providing us with one more glimpse into the cultural heart of northern Vietnam, as ahead lies the town of That Key. But for now, we move slowly, and letting the rain guide us through this cold and very ancient landscape. Because here, in Lang Son, every mountain has a memory, every cave holds a secret, and every valley whispers a slightly different story, one that is much older than humanity itself. And here we go, after a long and punishing ride through the relentless rain. Our clothes completely soaked through and through, and our hands, although numb but still holding on to the handlebars, as the cold is cutting straight, and without ceasing, right into our bones, we finally reached the town of that key. This moment rolling into the outskirts feels less like an arrival, but more like a narrow escape, as if the mountains themselves had been testing our resolve with every flooded curve and wind-lashed pass. But at last, we made it through the mist and the shivering exhaustion, and the lights of that key emerge like a promise that we have made it, and are happy that the road has allowed us to continue until here. And after hours of battling the cold, the rain, and the unforgiving mountain roads, that key does not simply appear. No, it emerges, like a refuge carved out of the mist. As the town sits quietly here in the lower part of the valley, and is flickering through the rain like distant embers, offering the first long-awaited true warmth we have seen since leaving the highlands of Cao Bằng behind us. But hey, the town of that key is more than a place to rest, it is a frontier town with a story that stretches far beyond its modest streets. Nestled in the Trang Dinh district of the Lang Son province, that key has long been a crossroads, a meeting point between cultures, trade routes, and the shifting tides of history. For centuries, caravans moved through this valley, carrying salt, tea, textiles, and stories between the northern mountains and the lowlands toward the Gulf of Tonkin. Even today, the town carries the quiet pulse of a place shaped by movement, as traders arriving from remote villages, farmers bringing their harvest to the market, and travelers like us passing through on roads that have witnessed generations of journeys. The surrounding landscape clearly tells its own tale. As to the north, it rises to the last rugged outcrops of the Cao Bằng karst belt, a boundary which is jagged, ancient, and scarred by time. To the south, the mountains soften, and opening into rolling hills and fertile valleys that signal the transition toward the warmer, more humid lowlands, and so, that key sits right at this threshold, where the frontier begins to loosen its grip and the land slowly shifts toward the gentler coast. But beneath its calm exterior lies a deeper history, as this region has seen conflict, resilience, and rebirth. During the turbulent decades of the 20th century, that key stood along strategic supply routes, its valleys echoing with the footsteps of soldiers and the rumble of convoys. The town became a waypoint for armies, a refuge for civilians, and a witness to the shifting fortunes of war. Today, those memories linger quietly in the older neighborhoods, in the faded colonial-era buildings, and in the stories told by elders who still remember the sound of distant artillery rolling across the hills. Yet, I have been told by the locals, that key is not defined by its past, but defined by its people. As in the early morning, the market comes alive with the voices of the Thay, the Nung, and the Kin communities, and each of them bringing their own traditions, foods, and crafts to vend. It is also the time when the smoke is rising from the street stalls as they grilling the sticky rice cakes and preparing the roasted chestnuts to fight off the cold air. Life here is simple, but very vibrant and grounded in the rhythms of the land itself, and the resilience of those who call this valley their home. For us, who are arriving drenched and exhausted, that key feels like a turning point, a place where the harshness of the northern frontier finally gives way to something gentler, a place where we can breathe, warm our hands, and gather strength before the road carries us onward to another destination, as this town is a threshold and a gateway between worlds, and a reminder that every frontier, no matter how harsh, eventually leads to a new beginning. Arriving now at our guesthouse of choice, the Cash San Hai Van Hotel here in the town of that key. The Cash San Hai Van Hotel offers a simple yet reliable stay for travelers like us. While modest in design, the guesthouse delivers the essentials with a sense of local warmth. The rooms are clean, functional, and well-maintained, providing a comfortable base for exploring the surrounding valleys and markets. The service here is very attentive, down-to-earth, family-run, and the staff are quick to assist with check-in, directions, or any local recommendations you might need. The location is another advantage. It is close to the town center, yet tucked away enough to ensure a peaceful night's rest. Overall, the Hai Van Hotel is a practical and welcoming choice for travelers seeking an uncomplicated stay with genuine local hospitality, as the rooms are equipped with a two-way air conditioning system to keep you warm in the winter and cool during the summer days. Moreover, this guesthouse also complements the slower rhythm of that key, and serves as a dependable stopover location on longer journeys through the province of Lang Son. An added bonus is their adorable Alaskan Malamute, correct me if I am wrong about the breed, who is such a sweetheart, especially when he gets pampered after his bath. He absolutely loves the treatment, and honestly, who would not enjoy such a nice service? Talking about the food here, that key may be a small border town, but it is surprisingly rich in flavor. The local standout, besides many other dishes, is vit quay that key, which is a fragrant roasted duck, which is seasoned with the lamak mat, a specialty leaf that gives the dish its signature aroma and sweetness. It is one of Lang Son's most beloved regional dishes, and travelers often make a point to try it at least once. And on this special culinary note, we wrap up today's journey through that key, a town of quiet charm, hearty flavors, and heartfelt hospitality. From the crispy roasted duck to the gentle rhythm of local life, it has been a stop to remember. In our next chapter, we will leave the familiar path behind us, and continue along a less traveled road, heading towards the city of Thanh Nguyen, and as always on our rides, discovering amazing new landscapes and exciting new stories.